Hey guys, I'm here at Grayson's Toontown in Montrose, California, where they just celebrated their 70th anniversary in business. So let's go inside and check it out. All right, so I'm here with Ken Grayson and Connor Grayson, and I'm really excited to talk about Grayson's Toontown now and how it has evolved to be where they are today. So let's start by talking about what you sell here now, the services you offer, and everything like that.
I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, so we sell a vast inventory of guitars. We focus a lot on new merchandise, but we do some used merchandise as well, which is great. So some brands like Martin, Taylor, Gibson, Fender, Gretsch, and then we have some Guild, Yamaha. We have our Mesa Boogies. We have our Fender amps and our Vox amps. So we have a pretty good spread.
Eastman?
We do carry our Eastman as well. And then we do a lot of lessons here at the shop too. We have about 500 students that come through here a week, which is great for a bunch of different lesson types. So whether it's guitar, bass, violin, ukulele, woodwinds, and more. And then we do a lot of repairs here. Now you're the amp repair person. That's you. But we got you covered on the guitar stuff. We do a lot of guitar repair in the area.
We carry most of the major brands that people
are looking for.
That people are looking for and willing to make an investment in them that is a future gold mine. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and he bought a Gibson from us in 57, was it?
67.
67
Yeah.
SG, and it was a 61 SG, and he had the receipt there, and I couldn't believe it. He paid $325
Wow.
for that guitar. And, of course, just if you look at current replacement cost, it's
Like $2,000.
a couple grand. But and then with its aged, what it would bring in, of course, we started selling for people now older instruments. And we have a reverb store, which has been very good for us because musicians trust them. And of course, with our long history of business, we are trustworthy. And, my staff likes people. And
You have a great staff. I always love coming in here and talking with them. They're so knowledgeable and friendly. It's really great.
well, they're part of my business and part of my family. And they've been with me a number of years. So, and none of my guys are commissioned. So I want them to sell with their heart as opposed to any other way, because it's the best thing. And we find out what's best for the customer and offer them all that positive advice.
So tell me about your relationship. I know you are grandfather and you are grandson. So how did you get involved with Grayson's?
So I actually grew up in Orange County, and I moved up here when I was 12. Started middle school up here, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to learn how to play guitar. Like, this is so cool that we have this in our family. And so I started taking guitar lessons here, and I loved hanging around here. And I would help out after school and on Saturday mornings doing things that really didn't help the business a ton, but it was cool because it created that excitement and made me so passionate about being in this store. And then I learned so much from my grandfather over the years. I'm 29 now, so it's been like 16, 17 years growing up in this shop. And it's made we always had a good relationship, but it's strengthened it like tenfold working together. And it's been so cool too, because my mom, she's not here today, but she works in the business as well. And so we have 3 different generations in here, and I think that's really special because each of us has like a different viewpoint, and we're able to kind of connect and see what's best overall. So like my mom can talk to like a lot of the parents at that parent level. My grandfather can talk to a lot of like the people that were around when music was like going through so many of its different like breakthroughs. And then I can kind of connect with some of the younger crowds. So it's been really cool to grow and see that. And you know, our goal is to continue to grow this and expand it eventually.
So Ken, why don't you talk to me a little bit about when Grayson started, what the shop was like at that point, and then how it has evolved?
Well, Grayson's opened in 1953. And initially, we were a record store. And we sold records and we sold phonographs. And then when tape came into the marketplace, 4-track was the first. And we used to sell car stereos even for the player that wanted to install a car stereo for tapes. And we did the tape and everything. And as we were doing those things, we also got involved with music lessons. And that became where we started to have more emphasis on musical instruments, and especially guitars has always been our strongest entity. And, you know, I'm always proud of the quality of what we turn out here. That is the most important thing for me. I've always felt doing business with my heart was a good direction. I've been around, 80 years, so I can look back at what it was when industries were much smaller and more grounded. Now with Connor coming on, and he started very young before his voice even changed, and
It's true.
we would bring people in to help train the merchants on how to use social media, how to make it work for you. And I would always send Connor to all those discussions and things like that. And, he being more alive with the time, because of his age, was able to really bring so many nice results for the business. And we've done some crazy things on online. And
I've seen.
in a number of years ago, or a couple of years ago, one of my employees was up in Oregon. And he was visiting friends, and he happened to go to one of the local music stores. And he got to talking to staff there, and he mentioned he worked at a music store. And they said, "What store is that?" And he mentioned Grayson's Toontown. And the guy said to him, "Is that the store with the crazy old guy?" So it just proves to an old timer like me the value of internet exposure.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the show so far. I wanted to give a shout out to DistroKid. They help musicians get their music on streaming platforms, and musicians get to keep all of their royalties, which is awesome. We love musician-friendly services. Viewers of my channel get 30% off at the link I will post here. And below it is distrokid.com/VIP/Fazio. So go check it out and get your music uploaded. So let's talk a little bit about your love of music and the music history in your life and your parents' life.
Well, it all started because of my father in that respect. He had a big band. And we are originally from the Midwest. I was born in Chicago. And he covered 3 or 4 states with his band. And they traveled those states before they even started a family. So that was the love. And then, of course, when he moved to California, because he always was in the record business back in Chicago, he got involved with records, and then he also started up his big band here in California. And he stayed with his band till he was in his early 90s. And he always swore that music is the reason why he lived as long as he did. I never really took to become real good on any instrument, but I loved the business. And my attraction was always for guitars. So it was from, my influence that we gravitated from one style of business into another.
So talk to me about Montrose, because I love this town so much. Talk to me a little bit about what you love about Montrose.
Well, where do I start? I just recently pulled back on some of the activities I've been over the years here in Montrose. I was active in this town for over 40 years. Past president of the Chamber of Commerce, past president of the Montrose Shopping Park Association, treasurer for many years, which is interesting because my dad was a treasurer for the shopping park before I got involved, and my grandson Connor is now treasurer for the shopping park since I've retired off of the board. We believe in promoting this town so people love coming and doing business here. And, on top of that, you're dealing with store owners. You're not dealing with locations of a chain that really doesn't care. So Montrose is a hidden gem. But I'm prejudiced, so don't listen to me.
Well, as an outsider, I agree with you. And also, I'm from Chicago.
Are you?
Yeah.
I thought you might have been. You kind of responded to that. My parents moved to California, though, when I was 9.
Okay.
But I was born in a little Italian neighborhood in Chicago.
I love it. Let's talk about an average day at the store. Tell me about the type of things that you do. And then also I'd like to talk about your goals for the store and where you see it in the next 10 to 20 years.
Sure. Okay, so day in the life of the store, it varies. I mean, as like small business owner, like your days, you wear many hats. Exactly. So some days I'm glued to the computer looking at inventory reports and like, what do we need to order? Like, what are we low on with Gibson or Diodario strings or Ernie Ball, whatever. Other days, we have a ton of customers in here, and I'm out on the floor, and we're working on that. Some days I'm in the warehouse. It varies so much. But I guess typically, there's a lot of emails, there's a lot of interacting with customers. Something that's so special is when we get a lot of students here, right? And like they like to get their first guitar and everything. Like that's such a special experience. It's cool working with like pros that come in or something like that, but like getting to work with someone on their first guitar, especially as a young kid, and like seeing that like glow in their eyes is like the coolest thing. And so we get that often, which is like such a perk of working here. Looking ahead, we want to expand. The world's been a little crazy these past few years, so there's never you never have a stable time. Of course, things are always changing, but that's something that we want to do in the future. And I don't know exactly what that looks like, where that looks like. We're still figuring that out, but that's a goal of ours. And then continuing to just improve our presence in our current community.
Well, thank you, Ken and Connor. It was awesome chatting with you and hearing more about the history of Grayson's. So if you are in California or out of state, please come to Montrose, check it out, come over to Grayson's. There's so many good restaurants here, all pretty much small businesses. It has such a great feel. All right, so I'm here with Wynn McElwee. He's the guitar tech here at Grayson's, and he's going to demo one of his favorite guitars in the shop for us. So Wynn, tell me a little bit about this guitar.
So this is a new Fender Custom Shop 63 reissue that we actually got to spec out fully here ourselves at Grayson's. Couple things that are a little bit different. One is extra jumbo frets on it, truss rod adjustment up at the top of the neck as opposed to vintage style at the heel. EVH Wolfgang humbucker in it, Daphne blue over competition orange paint over paint with the competition orange racing stripe like the old golf racing colors. Definitely something that, really says Grayson's to us and that we really felt strongly about, and it's definitely my favorite guitar here at the shop now.
It's a gorgeous guitar. You're the guitar tech here. Tell me about how you got into that a little bit. I'm very intrigued.
So my dad was a guitar repairman and a guitar tech himself. And from there, I've been coming into the shop since I was 8 years old. I got my very first instrument, a recorder here, and I just hung out at the shop constantly. It's the first place I came when I got my driver's license. And the old tech here had his bench right at the front of the shop, and I would, just sit across from him and bother him all day long. Eventually to the point where he'd be like, hold this down, keep the drill at this speed while I move this. And from there, I started getting into it a little bit more, asking my dad, asking some friends, started working on my stuff, my band stuff. And then after a little while, I actually got asked to work here on the floor. And from there, I just started polishing guitars, polishing frets, learning to do neck adjustments, learning everything I could from the techs here. And eventually the time came where they needed someone, and me and one of the other employees who had been working on guitars here got promoted to full-on technician. And from there, I worked with some other techs I knew and gathered as much information as I could, and just started going for it. And that's been around 5 years now.
Wow, that's so cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What kind of guitars do you guys specialize on, and are there certain repairs that you specialize in?
So we kind of work on everything. In this business, especially because the shop has been here for so long, we have a lot of people that have had, guitars they bought here 40 years ago come in. So we definitely specialize in doing, fretwork, setup work, refrets, things like that. Really just making sure guitars play as good as possible and doing some restoration work as well. Of course, acoustic, like binding repairs, crack repairs, anything of that nature. Guitar-wise, each tech has their own favorite guitars to work on. I love anything shreddy with a double lock in tremolo, and if it's pointy, it's great. So that's kind of my thing. But, anything that comes in, we'll make it as good as it can possibly be, and that's what we really pride ourselves on.
Love it. Thank you so much, Wynn. It was great chatting with you, and awesome hearing you play this super cool guitar. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed my interview here with the guys at Grayson's Toontown. Be sure to come check it out. Make a day out of it. Check out Montrose. It's an awesome little town. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.